Hi. In the last week of this class, I'd like to talk about what I think is one of the most important parts of English pronunciation, and this is intonation. By intonation, of course, we mean the music of your voice, how your voice rises and falls or moves musically when you speak. The reason this is really important is because every language has its own music. Have you ever noticed that when you're in, for example, a crowded airport, you can hear people speaking your native language from a long distance away? You can't hear their words, but you can hear the music of their voice. So every language has a music. We don't think usually about this consciously, but take a minute to think about the music of your voice. Say some sentences in your native language. Do you rise up at the ends of your sentences? Do you rise and fall in the middle of your sentences? Do you speak with a flat intonation, a flat music, and then fall down at the ends? Take a minute to speak your native language. Okay, so what have you found? How does your music sound? Now, think about some of the differences between your language and English. How does English sound? Well, as you know from the lessons, we rise up at the ends of our sentences or the ends of our thought groups and then fall down for statements, or we rise up at the ends of sentences for yes-no questions, or we rise up and fall down for information questions. This is really important for 3 reasons. Number 1, if you have English intonation when you're speaking English, it's more listener-friendly. In other words, it's easier for American or Canadian or British listeners to follow what you're saying if you're using the correct intonation. If you use your country's intonation, it might be difficult for us to listen for a long period of time. Also, second reason is because it shows your meaning when you're using English intonation. Think about the differences between these 3 different intonation patterns if I say the word ready. If I say ready like this, ready? I'm probably asking a question like, are you ready? And your answer would be, yeah, I am, or no, just a moment. Or if I say, ready, then I'm probably saying, I'm ready, let's go. And you could say, okay. Or I might say, ready. In this case, I mean, I'm not finished talking and I'm probably going to say something else. So you need to keep listening. So you can hear we use music to communicate different meanings, even when it's the same word. The third reason that intonation is so important, and this is the big reason for you, probably, is that we show our attitude through our intonation. I once had a Korean dry cleaner who I loved very much. He was a wonderful cleaner. He cleaned all of my clothes and he was very friendly when I went in. But when I would leave, he'd say, "Thank you very much. Please come again." Of course, this is following good Korean intonation, polite Korean intonation. But to an American listener, it sounded like, "Get out of my store. I don't want to see you again." So you need to think about the message that you're sending if you're following your own country's intonation. Remember, how you say something is stronger than what you say. Another example is if my husband comes home at the end of the day and says, "I love you. I love you." With flat intonation, this doesn't sound like he loves me very much at all. I prefer him to say, "I love you." With rising and falling, it shows that he has a positive meaning. With flat intonation, he sounds like he doesn't love me. So think about your country's intonation, your language's intonation. If you tend to rise up a lot at the ends of your thought groups and sentences, probably you are sounding like you're not sure in English, or you're a little bit insecure in English. If you are falling at the ends of your sentences or having a very flat intonation when you speak English, you might sound bored or bossy. This could be a very dangerous message to send, especially if you're speaking to your boss or your teacher. So think about the different kinds of intonation that you use when you speak English and try to follow a more English intonation pattern so that you are sending the message you want to send. Okay, so how about some strategies for good English intonation? Well, first of all, what I've been doing, conducting. As you practice and do your recordings, use your hand to show your rising and falling. For example, I love you, or hi, my name is Tamara. I live in Brussels, Belgium. I'm rising and falling to show I'm interested and polite, and I'm excited about the information I'm telling you. You can do this again with your hand by conducting. Where are you from? Are you from the United States? Using your hand or conducting can really help you. Of course, you want to do this in the privacy of your own home. Lock the bathroom door and practice in front of the mirror. Another way you can practice intonation is by using a kazoo or by humming. A kazoo is like a little musical instrument. You can probably buy these at a party store or something. When you blow into it and turn your voice on, you're just going to hear a humming sound. So you speak, but really what you can hear is not the words but the music. And this really helps you to focus your attention on the music. If you don't have a kazoo or don't want to buy one, you can try just humming. Okay, this is really focusing on the intonation patterns, the music of your voice. The final suggestion I have for you, if you're struggling with this, is to try to listen to American or British radio or television. And you can also find this on the internet if you don't live in an English-speaking country. And as you listen to the radio, try to mirror or follow, copy their intonation. So for example, if you're listening to the weather and they say, it will be very hot today, you would say, or, and this will help you focus and mirror English intonation so that it's easier for you to use intonation in your own sentences correctly. Now, don't be frustrated if this is difficult to do. Like all of the other pronunciation skills we've studied so far, this takes time to bring to your own speech. And certainly after 6 weeks, it'll be very difficult for you to immediately start speaking like a native English speaker. Instead, continue to think consciously about these things. Continue to record yourself after the class is over. Continue to get good English input by listening to the radio or watching television or speaking with other native speakers. As you do this and as you think consciously about these skills we've learned, you will find that you need to think less and it will be there in your brain and come out your mouth more often unconsciously. This takes a long time, so again, don't be frustrated if you feel like after 6 weeks you aren't sounding like the people on TV. That's okay. It'll take time, but I know you can do it. Thank you.